Hello Dragons, and welcome to this instructional video for Lesson 3 Part 1, Being a Voter. The main idea behind this civics lesson is elections give citizens a voice in government. They give voters the opportunity to choose candidates for public office and to make decisions on ballot issues. With that in mind, by the end of watching this video, you will be able to explain the purpose of general elections, describe how and when elections are held and who may vote in them, and explore the importance of becoming an informed voter. Now that the outcomes for this lesson have been shared with you, let's get started. At your age, you have the chance to play several citizen roles. You go to school, you obey laws, and you may do volunteer work. Soon you will be old enough to play the most important citizen role in a democracy, the role of voter. You will have a chance to vote in two kinds of elections, primary elections and general elections. In Lesson 3, you learned that in a primary election, members of political parties nominate candidates. A general election is an election in which voters make final decisions about candidates and issues. About 500,000 federal, state, and local offices are filled in general elections. These offices include everything from President of the United States to members of a town council. A general election may also offer citizens a chance to play a more direct part in government. Voters in many states, counties, and cities are asked to vote on certain ballot measures in a general election. Measures include initiatives, referendums, and recalls. They give each voter a voice in deciding what laws should be passed, how the government should raise money, and who should be removed from office. In a typical general election, several hundred proposals for new laws, constitutional amendments, and new taxes or other ways of raising money appear on state ballots. In 2008, for example, citizens in California were asked to vote on 11 proposals ranging from a new tobacco tax to a proposed ban on certain types of animal traps. In addition to deciding about statewide measures, voters across the country are often asked to vote on local ballot measures. These measures can involve new laws, public building projects, new taxes, and other government issues. So who may vote in a general election? The Constitution states that in order to vote, you must be at least 18 years of age and a citizen of the United States. In addition, you must be a resident of the state in which you will vote. However, not everyone who meets those qualifications has the right to vote. Prison inmates and people who are mentally incompetent are not allowed to cast a ballot. The process of signing up to be a voter is called registration. Registration was introduced in the late 1800s. It was meant to stop voter fraud, such as the same person voting more than once. In a few states, voters are allowed to register at the polling place when they go to vote. In most states, however, you must register several weeks ahead of time. To make it easier, many cities and towns set up registration tables in libraries, church basements, and even shopping centers. An act of Congress set Tuesday after the first Monday in November as the day for federal, congressional, and presidential elections. Most elections for state offices take place at the same time. Primary elections and elections for local government may take place at any time during the year, but most are set for the spring. Special elections to choose candidates to finish the terms of office holders who have died, resigned, or been recalled also may be held at any time. Voting takes place in what are called polling places. As a registered voter, you are assigned to a polling place near where you live. Each polling place serves a voting district or precinct, an area with between 200 and 1,000 voters. Your polling place may be a nearby school or church, or even in a neighbor's garage. On entering the polling place, you check in with an election official who looks up your name to see that you are registered to vote there. In some places, the official will give you a printed ballot or punch card that lists the candidates and measures on which you will vote. You will then go into a booth and mark or punch the ballot to make your choices in secret. Many polling places have voting machines. In that case, you simply pull levers to make your choices, and the machine records your vote. If you know that you will not be able to get to the polling place on election day, you will be on vacation, for example, you can ask for an absentee ballot. It will be mailed to your home shortly before the election. After marking your ballot, you return it by mail. Going to your polling place and casting your vote is relatively easy. To vote wisely, however, you must become an informed voter. To prepare to vote on candidates for public office, you should find out all you can about them. What are their qualifications? Where do they stand on important issues? If they have held public office before, how good a job did they do? You can get the answers to these questions from many sources. The candidates themselves can tell you about how they stand on the issues. Public service organizations with no ties to political parties, such as the League of Women Voters, often put out excellent information. You can also count on newspapers to write stories on the candidates' records, backgrounds, and stands on the issues. You can also learn a great deal about the candidates by going to hear them speak or by watching news on television. If you have a chance to watch candidates debate each other, you can see how they answer questions and handle themselves in a tough situation. You should also learn about initiatives and other ballot measures. Find out why a measure was proposed and what the outcomes might be if it's passed or turned down. Having a complete picture of a ballot measure is very important. For example, at first glance, you might vote against a 25-cent per gallon rise in the tax on gasoline because it would make driving your car cost more. However, if you learn that the money raised by the tax could go to building a highway that would shorten your drive to work by 10 miles, you might change your mind. Some states provide information on ballot measures, often in a voter's handbook sent to all registered voters. In recent years, only about half of all eligible citizens have actually voted in presidential elections. Even fewer have voted in most state and local elections. Why have so many people chosen not to use their right to vote? Some people say they do not vote because the candidates are all pretty much the same. The government will follow the same policies no matter who wins, they say, so why bother to vote? Others choose not to vote because they think that no candidate truly represents them or understands their problems. Sometimes people do not participate in elections because they think their vote cannot possibly affect the final outcome. How, they ask, can my one vote make a difference in a presidential race in which more than 90 million people cast ballots? It is true that elections are almost never won by 1 or even 100 votes. However, if thousands of voters all stayed home on election day, you can see that it might affect the outcome. Furthermore, even if your candidate loses, your vote still matters. Through the ballot box, you announce where you stand on the issues and what kind of representatives you want. By casting your vote, you perform an important civic duty. You take part in the process of deciding who will lead our government and what policies those leaders will follow. So that's the way it is with Lesson 3, Part 1, Being a Voter. At this point, you should know that general elections are official elections when offices are filled and issues are decided. Voters must meet age and residency requirements, as well as becoming registered in order to cast a ballot. And voting is important within our system of government, and being informed will help voters make effective choices in how they want our government to operate. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to have the entire catalog of civics videos available at your fingertips. Click the subscribe button and then click the follow bell to receive notifications as to when the channel is updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in class, Dragons. See ya!